BAUCIS and PHILEMON, a Greek myth. One day, Zeus was sitting in his home, Mount Olympus, looking down upon the mortals of earth, as he often did. Now, Zeus would look down and sometimes smile, sometimes laugh, sometimes he would frown, and other times he would shake his head. And on this day, that is what he was doing. What is the matter with these mortals? Don't they know how to treat one another? Hermes, would you like to go on an adventure to Earth? Hermes, the messenger god and son of Zeus, agreed. Let's go. And so they went to Earth, but before they left, they donned tattered, hooded cloaks as disguises, so no one would know their true identity. Now down at Earth, they came to a fine house where they knocked on the door. It was answered. What is it? What do you want? We're travelers. We're tired and hungry, thirsty. If you could spare just a bit of food and a glass of water and a place to sit for a while, it would be greatly appreciated. We don't give to beggars in this house. And the door was slammed in their faces. They went to the next home and knocked on the door. A man answered with a broom in his hand. What is it? And when they told him, he swept the dirt from his home upon them and slammed the door in their faces. And so it went, from home to home to home. Now, Zeus, who has many titles, but one of which is the divine protector of travelers and strangers, well, he was upset, disappointed. They were ready to give up and go back to Mount Olympus when they came upon a small home, a cottage. You might even call it a hut. And Zeus stopped and looked. Let's try here. And they knocked on the door. Now the door was opened and there stood BAUCIS and PHILEMON. BAUCIS and PHILEMON. A couple, an elderly couple. And they were one of those lucky couples who from the time they laid eyes upon each other when they were young till this day had remained in love. When one looked at the other, they both smiled. When one started a sentence, the other finished. And now they answered the door together. They looked at the strangers and smiled. What is it? And Zeus looked at them. We're travelers and we're tired and hungry. But then he looked inside their home. But we can see that you do not have much. We will not bother you. But BAUCIS and PHILEMON in one voice. Oh, nonsense, nonsense. We don't have much, but what we have, we will share. Come in, come in. And so Zeus looked at Hermes. Hermes looked at Zeus, and they walked into the little cottage. Philemon, Philemon, clean the table and get those 2 stools from the garden. And Philemon got a handful of mint and wiped the table clean, scuttled out to the garden where he brought in 2 rickety stools. He offered the guests the 2 little wooden chairs that sat by the table and reserved the stool for himself and his wife. Oh, you are in such good luck, said BAUCIS. I had just enough flour to make a loaf of bread today. And she put that loaf of bread on a small wooden plate and placed it on the table. Now, truth be told, that loaf of bread was more like a roll. But Philemon, with a smile on his lips, cut that little roll into 4 equal pieces. And we do have some fruit, and BAUCIS put a small bowl of grapes and figs on the table. And you are in such good luck today because our goose laid an extra egg and I was able to trade it for a wedge of cheese. And now she placed a wedge of cheese on the table, which, well, would probably be enough for you or for me as a snack before supper. And, Philemon, get that little bottle of wine we've been saving. And Philemon brought out a little piece of crockery. We helped our neighbors with the grape harvest, and they gave us this bottle of wine. We'll share it with you today. And so Philemon carefully poured that wine into 4 little cups. And now their feast began. And they ate and they drank. And they ate a little more. And they drank a little more. And then they ate some more. And they drank some more. And that's when BAUCIS and Philemon realized that they were in the presence of gods. Because as much as they had eaten, as much as they had drunk, the food never disappeared. And now BAUCIS and Philemon humbled themselves in the presence of the gods. Oh, we are so sorry. We will make a better meal for you. Philemon, kill the goose. We will make a meal from our goose. Philemon, get the goose. And Philemon began running around their little hut. They're chasing that goose. The goose was squawking and flapping its wings and finally took refuge behind the 2 gods. And that's when Zeus put up his hand. No, do not kill your goose. You have already given to us more than you will ever realize. You have given us hope for humanity. You have shown us kindness, compassion, friendship, hospitality, and for this you shall be rewarded. Follow us. And the 2 gods led the old couple outside and to the top of a hill, where Zeus raised his arms, and from the sky came a torrent of water that quickly became a flood and washed away all the homes, except for the home of BAUCIS and Philemon. And now Zeus raised his arms again, and where their house once stood, now there stood a temple, a beautiful golden temple with pillars in the front. This will be your home for the rest of your days. You may be guardians of the temple. And before we leave, we would like to grant you a wish, anything you like. Now, BAUCIS and Philemon did not have to confer with one another, no. They knew exactly what they wanted. And in one voice, they said, we would like to take our last breaths on earth together at the same time, at the very same moment, so that neither one of us would feel the pain of the loss of the other. Zeus smiled. It will be so. And the 2 gods went back to their home in Mount Olympus. And BAUCIS and Philemon lived in that temple the rest of their days, until the day came when they stood outside watching the sun set, holding hands. They both took their last breath at the very same moment. But as they were breathing out their last, BAUCIS and Philemon both felt something strange. They felt their feet begin to grow and then sink down into the earth. They looked down to see their skin turn to tree bark. They watched their arms and their hands turned to branches covered with leaves. And BAUCIS turned into an oak tree, PHILEMON into a linden tree. They grew and their branches entwined, and they live to this day as an oak and linden tree. And that's the story of BAUCIS and PHILEMON, a Greek myth.